Thanks for tuning in to Look at My JPEG, the podcast that discusses NFT, DeFi, and NFT financialization. This is your host, Xerox Jose, the founder of NFT Perp. The reason why I want to do this podcast is because there's just not enough people talking about NFT financializations. In this podcast, you can expect us to invite guests that are builders, founders, even investors that are deep in the NFT financialization space. We'll discuss their story, what they're building, and how you can get involved. So thanks for tuning in. Welcome to episode 17. Today we're joined by the team behind BendDAO, one of the first NFT lending and borrowing protocols. BendDAO is revolutionizing the industry by offering seamless experience for users in the form of NFT instant-backed loans, collateral listing, and NFT down payments. So get ready to learn how BendDAO is creating a one-stop shop for NFT liquidity. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello.
All right. Hey, Pirate Code, good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Sorry, I got some voice problem. So.
Absolutely, no worries. Is my audio okay? I feel like there's a slight static sound that I'm hearing. If audio is good, just give me a thumbs up. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is the 17th episode of Look at My JPEG, and today we have the team from BendDAO and also PirateCode.eth, and I'm very excited to hop into our today's conversation. BendDAO is considered one of the most, one of the OGs in the NFT finance space, and we're excited to kind of, free flow the conversation today and kind of see where it takes us. But welcome to the show, Pirate Code.
Yeah. Happy to hear.
So maybe before we hop all into the exciting things you guys are doing at BendDAO, can you give us a quick intro of yourself? And we can maybe hop into the inception and origin story of BendDAO, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was a Web2 guy. Works in a big Web2 companies, and in 2017 I joined Web3 full time. Then I invested a lot. I invested a lot of money and do mining, do something like Bitcoin, Ether, and before I play MTs, I play a lot of DeFi. And first time when I see a lot of people buying and selling JPEG, I think, well, what a damn method. Then I find out in ultrasound money, the MT gas cost is way more than the ERC20s. So I think maybe I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I go to try buy some MTs. I think my first MT is a Mibit. Then before the MYC came out, I buy some BYC. And I go to try the exchange for MTs. I try to the lending right now. At that time only MT5 was there, and I try MT5. I think I wait 1 or 2 weeks to somebody borrow me some, lend me some ETH, and I think it's quite not efficient. And I try to find Aave for MTs, and it's turned out there's no Aave for MTs.
Right.
Then I found my partners, quickly Crypto there, and he's another co-founder of BendDAO. Then we decide to make BendDAO for Aave for MTs. Then we code 9 months to launch the mainnet, and
this was back in 2021 when you started building this?
Yeah, September 2021.
Wow.
Is how you can check out the code on GitHub. The first commit is September 2021. Then we launched mainnet at March 2022. Then yeah,
it's good timing. Very interesting. So when our developer was also kind of studying the code base of BendDAO, we kind of realized the similarities between BendDAO and Aave as well. And we can kind of maybe hop into what you guys are doing with Aave in the meantime. So I think one of the most interesting thing that you guys did that really got a lot of attention was when you guys have the airdrop. Because prior to the airdrop, you guys have been operating for quite some time. I think the airdrop really brought a lot of attention to the protocol. Was that one of the strategies you guys deployed, like hoping to bring on more users? What was the thought thinking there?
You mean BendDAO token airdrop? Yeah, when we launched like in mainnet 2022 March, and we have 5% token to airdrop to, I think it's 200,000 address. Then only like 1.2% of the token is claimed. Not much people know BendDAO at that time.
Right.
And a lot of people think like BendDAO is more like bullshit. And people not going to know like BendDAO will be a big thing. So actually we don't send a lot of. And 3 months later, after the airdrop finished, we as we said before, we take those tokens back to the DAO treasury. So like you will check like it's supposed to 21% of the tokens in the DAO treasury, but right now we have 24.7.
Because of the missed airdrop, right?
Yeah, a lot of people miss the airdrops. I think they they didn't know like it's too early that time, I think.
That's interesting. I mean, for today's context, obviously, Blur went live yesterday, and a lot of that strategy was around airdrop. I wonder if the claiming will be as high as 90%, 95%. Love to see how that pan out over time as well. That's always an interesting thing as a team, thinking about who to airdrop to, what does it make sense? Because obviously a lot of that is strategic, right? Like, so for you guys, what was the criterias for someone to be eligible for an airdrop, even though they didn't use BendDAO in the past?
Yeah, when we designed the airdrop system, we plan to airdrop a lot of token to MT5 users because that time we need to attract MT5 users to use our pool lending service because it's more efficient. That's our main target users. And but MT5 don't have much users at that time. So most of our airdrop is designed to airdrop to the OpenSea users at that time because they are MT trading people. So actually, but it's not success because like it's too early. They can just check out mainnet website, check how BendDAO works, but it's too complicated and too early.
Yeah.
So lots of MT people have no idea what defines is what is smart contract. They afraid of lost their MTs. So actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think at the time, yeah, absolutely. I think NFT-Fi obviously was one of the earlier ones, and like you mentioned, I think besides you guys, there are a couple other NFT finance protocols as well, and maybe give us a little picture in terms of when you guys came out, first with the Peter pool model, which increased efficiency in terms of from a borrower standpoint, you get an instant loan on your collateral. From that initial protocol push of deployment, you have done a lot ever since, right? Like we're going through kind of following on the project. Like you guys have the collateral listing, you have the down payment, all these interesting things you developed, and also I thought when you guys were one of the earliest one to do flash loan claiming of perhaps the underlying collateral could be used to claim for an airdrop. So maybe give us a little timeline, if you will, on how things have progressed since you guys started on the Peter pool model.
Yeah, when we started the project, we think that maybe we need AVI for MTs, but like like first committee was like September 2021, but after we developed, we found out like if we want to make the AVI for MTs, there's a lot of challenges to do. Like in the end, we changed like 95% code. So actually, we rewrite the whole code base. Actually, because it's quite different. When you are going to use ERC20 DeFi, you can deposit like ETH to borrow like USDT or deposit USDT to borrow ETH. But in MTs, it's quite different because it's a property, like it's your identity. Because airdrop is so important for the MTs. So actually, you can only deposit MTs to borrow ETH, not going to deposit ETH to borrow MTs. And for loss like money, if you're going to lose money like liquidation, not much you need to take about. But if you're going to lose your identity, that's a lot. It's going to be hurt. So we invent like 24 hours liquidation margin call, and it was 48 hours, but the community decided to make it 24 hours for better liquidations.
When did that come out? The 24-hour liquidation. Well, initially it was 48.
First day.
Got it.
Yeah, it's first days. First day we launched the mainnet. This mechanism is over there.
And then they later decided to change it 24 hours.
Yeah. But we need this mechanism because if you're going to wake up, lost your identity, it will be sucks. So actually, if we want people to use our service, like in MT5, you have like 30 days or 6 days fixed. So you don't have to worry about the liquidations. But for the efficiency, you use peer-to-peer lending protocol. If the price drops a lot and you don't have much time to repay your money, it will be sucks if you wake up, lost your identity. So we invent these mechanisms.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's quite important. Lots of people use BendDAO because they know like they have 48 hours or 24 hours to repay the money. If the airdrop drop too fast, like the Azuki get fraud, and many people have time to repay the money to keep their identity.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I'd love to talk about these sort of different catalyst events and how BendDAO, held up during these situations. So, obviously Azuki, when they first dropped about the founders, the builder's journey, that kind of did a little shake up in terms of price action, and that was a big, event. For some people, it was. For some of the community members, it was a resetting of alignment. Like we're here for the long term, but also that set off some people to leave the community. The price dropped by probably more than 50%, which is quite substantial, and that kind of gives you an insight of how illiquid some markets can be in NFT. And even though at that time the price action liquidity looks decent for Azuki at the time, so what was BendDAO like during that couple of days? What were you guys focusing on? What do you see during those days?
Yeah, when the first Azuki fought, like the founder was stocks, and many people said like he made a lot of like scam projects before. Like at that time, there's many Azukis. There's no people going to beat BendDAO because a lot of people think that Azuki is going to zero. But after the whole Azuki community united together and make a Twitter space and the whole project going back, then it's okay. So lot of MTs in BendDAO, no people going to bid, so there's no auction triggered. So after the floor price going back, and those MTs are safe. So actually, our team decided not going to do anything, because if we say like, hey, BendDAO is not going to support Azuki anymore, we join the market, but we need to be like independent and let the market decide how to do it.
Yeah.
So we think like if a blue chips is a blue chips with like 10 ETH above the floor price, it's not going to zero like next day. So even if it's going to zero, it'll be a long time to disappear the consensus. So actually, we decided to not do anything. So actually, when the Azuki going back, it's okay. So I think we're not going to do some fraud or some like huge volunteer. We're not going to do anything about that. We just let the market knows.
Yeah.
Like right now, many people always ask me, "Hey, Parrot, when is the next BendDAO liquidation? I'm going to buy some blue chips from BendDAO," because they realize like every single time BendDAO liquidation is the best time to buy the blue chips. So they focus about the liquidation about BendDAO. So I think right now the liquidation for liquidity for the BendDAO auction is quite good. Many people want to join.
Yeah.
And we analyze like there's a lot of people like in MT communities, like 300 more address join the auctions. So it's quite decentralized. So I think like right now you know last time a lot of like BYC liquidated in BendDAO, like we have 40 or like 60 apes, but it's okay. People are going to buy them. So I think it's quite healthy right now. People like going to buy blue chips in the auction because some MTs even because the people don't want to sell them because they are rare and it's good looking and people would like to buy them with the full price, 80% of the full price. So actually it's quite good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So the bidding process for BendDAO, like for the at least for the auctions, is the hope to stay with this individual? It's not. It's in a way it's peer to peer, right? It's someone like offsetting and essentially covering the debt that the underlying collateral is associated with. Is the plan to stay that way in terms of just having individuals bidding these auctions, or do you hope to at some point have these like an auction pool where it's owned by several people in the form of bids?
Actually, like right now our protocol works like every single MVT's auctions run independently. So actually, we don't care. Some people join together to join the auction bidding, or like individual join the bidding. So both okay for us. But like personally, I think like individual is better from long term because like for MTs or communities like Franklin, like he had a lot of apes. He would like to buy any apes like in liquidations. So it's quite healthy. If you're going to depend on like some big guys or big waves or some organizations, it's not going to like healthy enough because one day like disappear, the whole protocol got some problem.
Yeah.
So it's for people built from people for people. Like I think the whole MT community built together is more healthier.
Got it. Yeah, super interesting. Maybe talk to us a little bit, and I have several things I want to touch on here. Number one, you guys have a health factor, which I think most people would understand. But walk us through a little bit, like in terms of most of the auctions and collaterals that we see on BendDAO, have health factor. The lowest right now is probably 1.14. And say for example, the floor price of BYC at the moment on your platform is projecting right now is 74, and then let's say a debt is at 52. So what happens when the health factor goes, let's say below 1? But the floor price is still above the debt that this collateral is associated with.
Oh, you could check the doc in our website. Actually, like we have 80% of the threshold for liquidation. Like, say you have the BYC with floor price 100 ETH, and you borrow 60 ETH. If the floor price is going to drop 80 ETH, if you're not going to prepay any money, and anyone can trigger the auctions, they can like bid for 80 ETH to buy your 100 ETH floor price BYC in BendDAO. But he need to win the auction in 24 hours. Who offer the highest price get the auction again.
Got it. So that threshold in between the debt value and also the health factor of being when you said 80% gives the protocol essentially a decent amount of buffer, I would say. Because
to like every different project.
Yeah, so it's to allow us to have some time and markets to work out properly. And you brought up Franklin just now. What's your relationship like with Franklin? Like, what do you guys think of when you think of the name Franklin? And how he's obviously one of the biggest users on BendDAO. And there has been narrative around, Franklin doing certain things to get better deals and whatnot. So, what's your relationship like with him? Do you guys talk pretty often? What's the general vibe going on with BendDAO and Franklin?
he's just one of the biggest users of BendDAO. He's his teacher. Like when he started to use BendDAO, I think he got 30 apes. Right now he got like maybe 70 apes. He got a lot of money by using BendDAO to borrow ETH and do some gen or flips or like airdrops or anything like he want. Like I think this Blue airdrop, he got a lot of Blue token. I think I saw he like in the number one of the process. I don't know.
In terms
I
of
think
like airdrop holder, probably, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. He used the ETH borrowed from BendDAO to bid or like buy or like offer like to a lot of things in Brew. So like I think he got a lot of airdrop tokens from Brew. So
yeah.
So I think he used BendDAO quite well. People would like to learn how Frank can earn money by using BendDAO protocol like BendDAO. I think, but we don't have much relationship about him. Our DAO treasurer is transparent.
Mm-hmm.
There's no marketing money for us. So actually, he just used BendDAO, and he think BendDAO helped him earn a lot of money. He just do some advertisement for BendDAO outside. I think it's quite fair enough.
Yeah. So I think when there's a bunch of I think back in this was last year, like probably I can't remember exactly when, but there's a bunch of like people shitting on the situation, and I have always thought that people are kind of overreacting to a lot of different DeFi things, and market playing out as it should over the last when things were happening. Like I think
it's August, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the Twitter name, and he was doing a lot of narrative pushing around. This is the death spiral for BAYC because this protocol is there's a bunch of stuff happening at the time, which I thought was always kind of funny about how people like overreacting these market playing out and how DeFi protocols operate. I've always thought that it was just a natural progression of how money markets work. And people tend to overreact a lot in this space, especially when maybe with their money's on the line. But I don't think that was the case at the time. So it's always kind of funny to go back to that situation and kind of examine what went on. So fast forward to, I believe there was a proposal, and that's where maybe you and I personally have conversations in the past, and I've also talked to Hill from your team as well. And I think you guys have, I'm not sure if you guys went through that because that was in the proposal. You guys, talked to Bankless Consulting as well. And then that eventually helped with, I believe, Ave's relationship and how you guys have built, since then and some of the collaboration. So maybe speak to us a little bit more about your guys' collaboration with, or in any sort of relationship or things that you've worked together with along with Ave.
Not much right now because we check the Aave situation. They have a lot of money in their DAO treasury. Mm-hmm. Actually, they have a very professional risk modeling company working for them. I think it's 20 million per year expense. So BendDAO not going to earn that much money. We are not going to afford for that. Mm-hmm. So actually, we try to want to get some advice from professional guys in different situation in our way, but they have no. I think they launched their own MT lending protocol.
They did.
It's open.
I had no idea. That's really interesting.
But after our internal team discussion, we found it's quite different situation from us and RV because in RV is going to liquid. So people buy ERC20 tokens to liquid ERC20 tokens and to arbitrage to the SEX like Binance or any other SEX exchange. Mm-hmm. So our liquidity is not so. It's maybe 2% of the whole market is not a big deal, but BendDAO is quite different because in MTs we have no SEX every people playing on chain,
Yeah.
right? So actually, we more like BendDAO, like when BendDAO liquidation happens, we are not going to have a lot of like liquidation for the stacks. So like the last liquidation of the last mass liquidation of BYC, we have 40 more apes liquidated in BendDAO, but those 2 weeks there maybe only 5 or 10 BYC trading in OpenSea. So actually, if we use this model like Aave, I think it's quite different because we're not going to let people borrow those too much ease because there's not much liquidation outside. But it's quite different things like when the BYC or Punk or those blue chips, they have a lot of people want to buy it. Even not much liquidation in those exchange like OpenSea.
Yeah.
Actually, when liquidation happens, people are going to buy them as well in BendDAO. Like they have 20% like arbitrage like margin. So actually,
which is pretty high.
It's quite different. Yeah, it's quite different. Like even outside liquidation is not so good. BendDAO like can do it. So actually, we think maybe BendDAO is more like on-chain like Binance. So actually, we are not going to use the risk model for outside. Maybe we are the biggest market. So even like people realize like a lot of apes is going to liquidate in BendDAO. Not a lot of much people going to bid on OpenSea. They would like the floor price going to drop, and that they can help them to buy a lot of like liquidated apes or cheap apes or good apes in BendDAO. So actually, I think like the situation is quite different. We are playing on-chain games. It's not the ERC20 games anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is quite interesting, right? Like if it starts at an 80%, what does he typically land at, like in terms of the final auction value from floor? Is it 5% below? Do you push up to 95? What does that typically look like?
Yeah, actually, like people can borrow, like BYC, they can borrow 60% of the floor price, and Punk's 60%, NYC 50%, all the other blue chips 30%. But if the debt with the floor price is 80% of the floor price, and people can go to trigger the auction.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 20% for those people to buy the MV chip in BendDAO and going to sell in OpenSea or in Blur or any other like SudoSwap or any on-chain.
Yeah, it covers the bad debt handsomely, and also allows. So the premium. Here's the question: like the premium, I suppose that mostly goes to the protocol.
No, actually, we're not going to earn money from the auctions because like people going to hurt for that. So on-chain auction, we're not going to charge anything.
Okay.
So when the 24 hours auction is on-chain auctions, like if your ape is a gold ape, there's no way like you can win the auction with like a floor price. You're going to bid a lot with a lot of people, and whoever of the highest offer can get the apes.
So that's interesting. So let's say a borrower, like you mentioned, like our example earlier, borrows at 60% loan to value ratio. So let's say the full price is 100, so he borrows 60 ETH, and then the floor price drops to, let's say, 80, and then someone is starting to bid. Like if there is, let's say it ended up like the auction final value is 65, right? And the initial
No. Like yes. Yeah, it could be 65.
Right.
Yeah.
So the initial debt was
the 5 years will go back to the MT holders.
Oh, you actually kick it back to the borrower.
Yeah, yes, definitely. It's their money. There's no way you can take that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's really good, right? Because some protocols, would try to capture that auction premium, and for higher revenue for the protocol. So in that sense, does the bid and final auction, does that go into? Is there any interest that goes back to lender in this scenario?
Like When the auction happens, the interest is still calculated. So 24 hours, you need to still pay the interest. But 24 hours, there's not going to a lot of interest from that. So actually, when you go into auctions, we need to use when the auction finish, if the interest is more, you need to pay the interest for those 24 hours if you want to get the ape.
So the lender in this instance still have the revenue being generated.
Yeah. The token 24 hours token, BEN token rewards still goes to the MT holders.
Okay. Taking a little sharp turn. Can you tell me a little bit more about the down payment you guys have developed? I think it's quite interesting. It's different compared to buy now and pay later, but you can execute these purchases instantly, and you don't have installments, which is quite interesting. Can you tell us a little more about that and how does it work? And it does mention Aave, being a part of the equation. So maybe speak to us a little bit more about that.
Oh, Dumper is quite simple. Like you can use like flash current. We use Aave's flash loan. You can board like if the floor price of apes is 100 ETH, but you can't afford that. You have 40 ETH. You want to buy apes. You use BendDAO service, and BendDAO will in one transaction. BendDAO will use Aave's flash loan function. We borrow 60 ETH from Aave, and with your 40 ETH, you can buy 100 ETH apes in OpenSea or Luxor or X22. And in that transaction, you're going to deposit the ape into BendDAO as the collaterals. You borrow ETH out, and you repay the money back to Aave.
Back to Aave.
So it's quite simple.
Yeah, got it. And then, with that, you essentially have this flash loan fee that goes back to Aave and whatnot. So maybe this is a stupid question, but why Aave? Like, why not just directly from your pool?
Oh, yeah. Like when we decided to use Aave, because Aave is quite good example for us. Like Aave was supposed to peer-to-peer lending, then he changed to peer-to-peer lending and win the market.
Yeah.
And we think like peer-to-peer lending is quite better for MT. So I think Aave inspired us to develop this project, and Aave invented the Flash loan, and which we use Flash claim to help MT people to have the full ownership of all the airdrops.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to give some feedback, give some money back to the Aave. So it's not much. I think it's 0.9% of each flash loan.
Yeah, it says
so
0.09, so not much. Correct.
Yeah, not much. Like I think we need to show how MT-defined protocol, on-chain protocol can compose with any other protocols. I think it's quite cool to get some money back to Aave. Mm-hmm. So actually, we decide that. But if the community think like we need to earn this money and keep this money for each depositor for all users, it's quite okay. We can upgrade the protocol. Yeah, but no people mention about that. It's quite okay.
Yeah, got it. That's quite interesting. I think, ultimately, and this kind of ties to some of the design thinking that we have in mind as well. I think ultimately, in the DeFi space, code is commodity, and it's about how you integrate with other protocols, show composability, and who you reach out to, and how you build along the way that sets you apart from the competition, and create loyalties around your users and allow people to build together. So I think that's a great thing you guys are doing. So keep up with that. Tell us a little bit more about the BEND token. So I think one of the questions that I have is like, what is the long-term value prop you guys are thinking for BEND tokens besides the voted escrow VBEND or protocol token holders going to perhaps dip into some of these protocol revenue? What are you guys thinking long-term for BEND token look like?
Yeah, right now, if you hold BEN token, you can use VMOC to lock some BEN token to share the revenue of the protocol. We share 100% of the loan revenue, 50% of the exchange revenue, and 50% of the down payment revenue. So actually, we have like over 1,000 ETH distributed in the last year. Not close to last year, only 320 days. So, and you hold BEN token, you can, if you hold like, I think it's 10K BEN token, you can make a proposal in our snapshot to make a proposal, like people come to vote, like list blue chips, adjust some parameters for like how much the LTV or some like parameters for the special collections in BEN token, BendDAO protocol. So actually, I think generally we want people to not going to focus on the price, but with long-term holders to build with us. So like, I think we token is quite good for find people who want to stay longer with the project, not going to flip the token price, like pump and dump.
Yeah.
Like, I think like we model help us find more like builders, because the builders, they create values. So actually, yeah, if you stick longer, you have more like voting power, and you show more revenue from like maybe you can lock 4 years and you can get a whole like 10 tokens. If you lock 4 years, you got 10 V tokens. But if you lock just 1 year, you got 2.5 tokens. It's quite fair. Yes, I think like it helped a lot for people. We found people build with us.
Yeah. Definitely would love to speak with you more about that, because as NFT Perp, we don't have our token entirely live yet. We have a voucher token that we're designing, and we're working on some token model stuff as well. So love to speak with you in private and personally, and get you some of your thoughts on what we're doing. Thank you for covering that. I guess like outside of that, like the other interesting things would love to ask you about. How are you guys thinking about data pipeline? So for the most part, I think you guys have been using the Oracle price feeding comes from OpenSea, X2Y2, and LooksRare. On I think the data pipeline might looks like an API feed into a Chainlink node, and that's TWAP and whatnot. What do you guys think of Blur? Have you guys integrated or thinking about integrating Blur API if there's any?
No, right now they don't have API. I was asking, like we have a group and with Blur and Franklin introduced to them. But they don't have APIs, and a lot of people asking like, "Hey, bro, when is your API going to launch?" But bro, I think they focus on different things. They are not going to release APIs soon, I think.
I see.
So actually, we're waiting. Yeah, we are waiting.
There's a Google form on the website for the API.
Yeah, but we fill the form, but no response at all. so actually, like everybody's waiting their API. But I think long term, decentralized API price is going to be finished by Chainlink maybe. Chainlink they launched the different blue chips for price. Some of them is not so good right now. I think like BYC they only have 6 ETH, which is supposed to 64 or 74 or 75. But I think they will improve a lot in the future, and we are going to cooperate with them to help push them forward. Like maybe Coinbase as their data input is not going to do things right.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, maybe Chainlink or something else. But we will get the decentralized Oracle on chain like in the end.
Yeah.
So actually, BendDAO right now we use our own protocol. On Oracle input, we integrate different APIs, but in the end, I think we will use decentralized full price API from the Chainlink maybe.
Yeah, we'd love to get that point too. We took a look at Chainlink's API. Their Oracle, I think it's designed really well for NFT lending and borrowing. For perps, it might be a little bit tough because it doesn't track volatility that well. It tracks for downside movements better than upside movements, and I think that's very, very useful for lending and borrowing purposes for DeFi protocols. Hopefully, fast forward 2 years, 3 years from now, we have a universally agreed upon Oracle network and a standard that cross protocols can use. So you could have better composability across NFT finance protocols if there's a standard for value, right? I think one of the interesting things that when we're discussing and kind of exploring what Oracle means in pricing an NFT collection was, you have these flagged items that you would see on Blur, you would see on Gem, that maybe perhaps in the past have been stolen, and those API typically wouldn't work. Like if you go on Gem right now, the BOIC floor is at 67, and obviously with those APIs, that's unusable. We also kind of thought that the API for lowest ask typically are quite seller represented. That's why from what we do at NFT Perp is we use historical prices instead of listing values. And that's what Chainlink does, actually. They use historical prices. They sort of like a dumbed down version of it explained. It will be like a moving average within a range inside standard deviation for that to work. But we can explore more on that later on. So what's next for you guys? I think I had a good chat with our advisor, Ben Roy, is a really good friend of mine, and kind of talks about evolution of some DeFi protocols out there. Some of them start with lending, some of them start with perhaps an exchange, and then they move on to stables and money markets, and expand from there. Like, what's next for BendDAO? If I were to compare with perhaps some of the other NFT lending and borrowing protocols out there, like JPEG is another peer-to-pool model protocol, and they have like a PETH that they have deployed. They're looking to do perps similar to ours as well. We're looking to do some collaborations with other teams. Are you looking to horizontally expand BendDAO products? Let's say 2 years from now, what would you like to see in BendDAO?
2 years, I think it's quite a long time for like space in crypto. Like a lot of things change. Maybe 2 years later, we're not going to see OpenSea anymore. Maybe the rules are going to kill them. So I think right now we mainly focus on community build, decentralization, security, and get some code reviews. Actually, I think last year we developed a lot of features you mentioned about, like exchange, down payment, and app staking, or anything like we developed a lot. So I think we need to slow down because like we have 220 or 240 $1 million in our protocol. I think safety will be the first. Like right now we need to do more security things. How about and do more like community build. So actually some community members are going to say, hey, we would like to BendDAO to deliver some projects or features in BendDAO 2.0, and we are reviewing that, and we are going to take more feedback from our communities. So I think generally we're going to make it not so fast like last year's. I think with safety first, and going to build a community and do some more research how to like do better peer-to-peer lending, or like do some different ecosystem. Like if people want to use like BendDAO's blue chips floor price, or like BendDAO's data to build like some protocol like perp, or like maybe your perp you can cooperate with us. We're going to build a lot of ecosystem. We would like more developers to join to contribute our source code, open source code. Actually, I think generally this year we will be slower, but more robust, more solid, and do some more research and not going to run too fast because like we are big guys. We're not going to use one bug to destroy our whole protocol.
Yeah, for sure. Would love to chat about what you guys are thinking long term. If there is interest in derivative space, we've done some work as well. So we'd love to chat on potential collaborations and explore synergies. I think.
Yeah, cool. We like for Chainlink. I think we can push together. Chainlink would like to do more MT better price, and we can help, like you and us, we can do together to help Chainlink to build a decentralized floor price, and we can do more things together. Like last year you found us, but we are quite busy doing things about the liquidations, about coin staking, and a lot of things. But right now we have more time. We can build together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think bear market's the perfect time to get a hold of a team, get a hold of founders, and have a chat and have a conversation and explore things together for sure. Okay, I think we've taken a lot of your time. Really appreciate you coming on. Is there anything that I missed, maybe, that you would like us to also speak about? Things that to look forward to at BendDAO?
For BendDAO, no. But I have some question about the MT perp. Would you like to help me?
Yeah, of course. Happy to talk about that too.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like in MTs, a lot of things happen. Like you got like airdrop a lot of like MTs for the holders. So we will see, like we have seen like many times. Every time you got announced some like airdrop, MT or BYC, like MYC, because they can get the airdrop, the floor price is going to up a lot. And after the airdrop, people get the MTs. They would like to sell the MTs. And some like people like sell the BYC because like they get airdrop. Airdrop is quite good. They sell a BYC and the floor price going down, and BYC and MYC going down. So actually, it's quite like quite obvious. Like every single time it's work like this because a lot of airdrops. So actually, because the airdrop MT is not calculated by MT perp, right? So actually, I think every airdrop, the floor price of BYC will going to up and down. Like it's so obvious. Like if you got announced a airdrop, if I use MT perp, I will definitely go to long. And after airdrop, I will definitely go to short because people get the MT. So my question is, if I'm so obvious, I can go to long before airdrop and short after airdrop. So who is going to bet against me? Like if I go to long, like who is going to short? If I go into the short, who is going to long? I think they will definitely lost money. That's my key point here.
That's a really good question. And that's why we think a combination of a mixed counterparty versus a protocol directional counterparty, implicit counterparty is the key here. Personally, I think if you set up a perp protocol, because when we're designing NFT perp, there's several ways we can do it, right? You have the traditional CLOB-based model where you have direct counterparty, you have a liquidity of order books and different orders for it to be filled. Well, first of all, it's quite hard to get market makers to provide books for NFT because of how illiquid it is. And then, if you pan over to a different side of the NFT or DeFi derivative space, you have the models that's more or less like a trader versus liquidity provider pool model. So, i.e., Cap Finance, Unidex, GMX, and most recently, I guess Mycelium is another one that's similar to GMX in a way. I think Gains Farm is pretty similar to that model as well. So essentially, it's trader versus a liquidity provider, right? Trader's profit is a liquidity provider's loss, and then vice versa as well. And you try to get protocol revenue and driven from volume, open interest, and borrow rates allowed. In those instances, because of how predictable, like you just explained to us, NFT can be, our thinking is that LPs will almost always lose in those situations because they're, like I mentioned, like you said, it's quite predictable. And to being the direct counterparty, meaning you always will lose. And that's one of the reasons why we designed things the way we did, where you could have long short skew. You could have open, and this is open interest, right? This is not 50% direct counterparty long short skew. This is an actual directional long. So you could have 3 longs and 2 shorts in the market. And essentially, depending on the entry prices of longs, they can directly take profit from one another. So it becomes a zero-sum game where it's trader versus trader as opposed to trader versus LP. In those instances, it allows a directional long, directional short inventory in an exchange like ours. And I think for us to scale up long term to be much more scalable and sustainable long term, like we're going to have like most likely do a hybrid model. And the hybrid model means you have this order book sitting on top of the virtual MM, the synthetic liquidity we've designed. So it can fit into both instances where there's a very clear directional long happening on the spot market. You could have the AMM and the synthetic liquidity being the implicit counterparty and allow traders to take profit from one another and losses from one another. And when the instances are when the spot or volatility looks like perhaps on perps, on spot is more choppy, then you get to kind of leverage the direct counterparty order book model. So that's the long-term goal. But for the time being, like the current synthetic liquidity model works for long short skew and directional movements.
Okay, thank you for explanation. So I'll check later with the documentations.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to hop on additional chats if you'd like to find out a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on. This is a great episode that I've been looking forward to for quite some time, and appreciate you guys being one of the OGs in the NFT finance space. If it weren't for you guys, I don't think a lot of the other NFT finance protocols would be where they are today.
Yeah. I think you're going to host like these episodes every week.
So we try to do Look at My JPEG podcasts every week. So actually this week we have another one on Friday. Next week we have another one. So and a lot of these are lending and borrowing protocols because I think that's one of the low hanging fruits that NFT finance protocols would like to solve. But once in a while we get different NFT options. We get pricing protocols. We get fractionalization products to come on and chat as well.
Good. Let's push the NFT space forward together.
Absolutely. Once in a while, we also do like a roundtable where we invite different NFT finance teams and founders and talk about a specific topic. So we'd love to have you guys on for that one as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, the listeners, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys coming on. If you missed the live, you can listen to the recording. We have our Look at My JPEG on Spotify as well. So thank you for your time today and hope you have a great Wednesday. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Look at My JPEG podcast. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcast from, give us a like, a subscribe if you like the content, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.